And you thought that topic was good. This one is going to be really, really good. Cuzzo, you brought this topic up to me. Let me get the topic at the bottom of the screen. How should we view the current state of the NBA post All Star weekend? I got a lot to say, but Cuzzo, you brought it up. I'm gonna start off with you.
Man, I'm gonna show my age here, man. I'm gonna show my age. I am disgusted with the current state of the NBA, and I ain't just talking about the All Star break, which was a laughing stock. It's clown basketball right now, man. It really is. It's nothing that I want to watch. I don't think it's nothing that our youth wants to watch. It's nothing that people that's older than me wants to watch. So if you're going to remove all phases of people trying to watch, is why viewership is down over 40%. Okay. This is the All-Star game. This is the biggest All-Star game in any sport. Bigger than football, bigger than baseball, bigger than hockey. The NBA All-Star game is the #1 All-Star game. Everybody like playground basketball with the greatest players in the world. Okay, do you understand that? Competitive playground basketball with the greatest players in the world, utilizing all of their skill sets to its full degree. Not clown basketball. Not I'm going to shoot my left hand the whole game. Not me taking 50 play shots. Not we'll be playing lazy defense. Not we'll be acting like I don't owe the fans. It's why I get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to put on a competitive show. Okay? Now I'm going to quote the great late Kobe Bryant. And the great late Kobe Bryant said in an interview, when he first came into the league was old. It was older guys, veteran guys that know how to take care of the game. This is right before he retired. If y'all want to go look up this interview he had, right before he retired, I think it was his last year. He said, but now the league is young and we don't have veterans teaching these dudes how to be professional. Okay? They just don't know how to do it. And now you got a 24-year-old teaching a 20-year-old how to be professional. It ain't going to work. It won't sustain itself long term. And now we're watching it. This is what we have, a mess. The NBA is a mess. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm keeping it a buck. I am not an NBA fan right now. I just follow the NBA. You see that? I'm not an NBA fan right now. I just follow the NBA. I'm an NFL fan. I watch every game I could possibly watch. I don't care what it's on. Click, click, click. I'm watching the game. I do not run around trying to watch NBA games. It's buffoonery. It's horrible. It's laughing stock basketball. They got to pitch stimulations in for you to play games to win awards because people don't want to play games. They want to play back-to-backs. You got to pitch stimulations in for flopping because people is playing around. I got fouled and over-exaggeration. This is horrible basketball. When I say horrible, it's not competitive in the regular season by any degree. And by the time we get to the playoff, the competitiveness is not even that great, but it's so much better than the regular season. We actually sit down and say, okay, finally we got some decent basketball. Finally, I got some decent basketball. Horrible. And if the NBA is not on alert right now, they're about to lose chunks of fanmanship, chunks of viewership, and chunks of money. If they don't know what happened to baseball once upon a time in the 1970s, 60s, 50s, and 80s, #1 sport in this country, but they let it pass this time. It went right over their head. You know why? Because they didn't take care of the sport. They did not put it to use of the youth. The NBA thought they was doing that with progressive thinking. Yo, we're going to do all of these nights. And it's horrible right now. It's disgusting. Okay? This is not competitive basketball, bro. I can't even watch it. You know what I mean? Everybody, all they do is kick, drive and kick to shoot a three. Everybody's running to go team up with somebody. The culture of teaming up now, let's form a big three. That is the culture? What? Not competitive culture? Now I want to beat every great player in this league? No, I want to join every great player in this league. I don't know how many great teammates James Harden had. I don't know how many great teammates LeBron James had. I don't know how many great teammates Kevin Durant had. Like, everybody played with everybody once upon a time. It's horrible. Okay? Where's the rivalry at, bro? Where's the tradition of a rival of straight competitiveness? Where's the guy with the mental capacity to say, I can do more with less? I can beat you with less talent. Where's that at? Because that's what I want to see. I want to see somebody say, I don't care what teammates you give me. I can beat anybody. Now, no, clearly, I grew up in the Michael Jordan era. Clearly, that was the mentality. Clearly, Kobe, the late, great Kobe, also adapted that mentality. That mentality is now officially dead. We are never going to see that mentality again because these NBA players have generational wealth. They play hard when they want to play hard. They walk around like they doing a big one. Like, yeah, okay, I don't got to play. I'll play when I want to. I don't got to play back-to-backs. Okay, because clearly, and I'm going to pass it on, but clearly, let's be fair. Is it harder now or was it harder then? Because, see, if y'all don't know, I will educate, okay? Not only did they play back-to-back games back in the day, they played 3 games in a row most of the time. So they was playing back-to-back-to-back, okay? They was playing back-to-back playoff games, okay? That was the schedule. I watched it, okay? Now, what do you think? They had these great hotels. They was flying first class? No, they wasn't. Some of them was taking buses from city to city, okay? These players got the red carpet laid out for them, and they still walk around like, soon they get their finger hurt, I got to sit out for 3 games. I don't want to watch basketball like that. I don't watch sports like that. Okay. I am a competitive dude and I want to see competitive basketball by all means necessary. Stop crying, put on your big boy pants and go play ball. That's how we play ball in the park. We don't care about who was on your team. What? Give me this team right here. Let's run. Everybody's complaining, bro. And nobody's, to me, and this is no disrespect, and I'm going to pass it on right here. To me, the European players is about to take over this league.
Yeah. Nah, I think they already are, to a certain extent. Oh, man. Well, hello, America. Wow, that's a lot to digest, cuz I'm not going to lie. I feel you. I feel your pain on that one. I do want to start off by giving some type of credit to Adam Silver for finally waking up on the job. It was for a minute he was treating these NBA players like how New York City has been treating the migrants. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, because you are super citizens of this country. That's how Adam Silver was treating these players. Multiple trade requests, sometimes 1 in the whole, sometimes 2 in the whole calendar year. Load management, super teams, etc., etc. But I will give him credit for finally waking up. He tried to make the regular season a little bit more competitive at the start by installing the play-in tournament, which I thought was, innovative. It was innovative. I was watching it. Also expanding the international reach of the sport, making it more global. So while the NFL is dominating, viewership here in America, the NBA definitely is a bigger sport as far as worldwide because of its international reach. But the one thing I would say, and I thought about this last night, right? Because immediately when I knew we was going to talk about this topic, thoughts was just flowing in my head. And I'm saying to myself, yes, the current state of the NBA is a dying sport. I just got to be honest with you, right?
Thank you.
But at the same time, this is why fans need to stop laughing at my New York Knickerbockers. People like Cuzzo. People like Cuzzo. Every time we talk about the Knicks on this show, he's ready to crack jokes and laugh. He's shaking his hand like, yeah, I'm about to crash on this team. But why? When we, hustle on a game-by-game basis, everything we hate about the league is not in the Mecca. Everything we hate about the league is not in the Mecca. We hustle. In the era of load management, we are playing. If we're healthy, of course.
That's a fact. No,
Julius Randle is hurt, right? OG Anunoby's hurt. But I guarantee you one thing. If they were healthy, they will be playing right now. Okay, we take the regular season seriously. We always have under the Tom Thibodeau regime. Okay, number one, where defense is, in the back burner, we prioritize defense. We are defense first. Okay, we hustle. Right, you saw the play last night. I understand people thought it was a foul and all that. My guy Dante DiVincenzo, but that was hustle too. That was hustle too. Okay, so when we come at the NBA. And talk about how guys are not playing defense. Everybody want to shoot the 3, and this, that, and the third. We are the opposite. Okay, so instead of laughing at us because we don't have stars where everybody's trying to build stars, teams with superstars and gut out their roster, no, we are adding depth.
Clear.
So show us our respect. With all due respect, okay? I just want to put that point in there first before I proceed with my take. I'm on the flow today, so y'all know today, okay? Now, when we talk about the NBA as a whole, 60 and 70 point games used to be a rarity back in the day.
Okay.
right? It used to be a rarity. You know, it would listen in Sports Center, it would be the number one thing being discussed out of any football thing going on. Okay, back in the day. Now it's happening more. It's happening more 60, 70-point games. It happened a couple times this year, a couple times last year. And then now we get to the All-Star break right now. And this is where I really want to focus on because that All-Star game was garbage. I'm not going to lie. At halftime, I was watching the Game of Thrones. At
Right.
halftime. I mean, you talk about, I believe it was 66 three-pointers were made, okay, and 168 were attempted. Both records, by the way. Okay, Luka launched a half-court shot with 30 seconds left on the shot clock. What are we doing here? Dame was 11 of 20, 11 of 23 from three, won MVP. What are we doing here? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. If you want fans to care about your product, the players got to care about the product. They got to play hard on a game-by-game basis so we can watch hard. I repeat, they got to play hard so we can watch hard.
Can watch
Okay?
hard.
Because I'm at an age in my life. Okay? I'm pushing 30. I'm not 30 yet, but I'm a couple years away from 30. We getting there, bro. It hit me today. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting older. You know, I understand because I know how that feeling is, bro. When you realize you're getting older. And when you get older, you got more responsibilities, especially if you're a man. Okay, I think everybody got a responsibility, women and men. But you know, me being a man, I can speak for myself. You get more responsibilities. Okay, Fred is the household. He's the head of his household. Okay, right now, and time. We don't have that much time like that. We only have a certain amount of time during the day. So when we devalue, or not devalue, but when we devote our time to a sport like the NBA, we want to see competitiveness on a regular basis because we can easily kick it off. I got something to do. I got to be at work tomorrow morning. I can go sleep.
Clear.
Okay. We got to do a better job than that. You know, like I said, I will give credit because I am giving some type of credit. I do think that we are in the NBA, especially this season, where I can't tell you who's going to win the championship. In years past, I could have told you who I thought was going to win the championship. I don't know. I honestly don't know who's winning the championship, East or Western Conference. I don't know. The Celtics look like they getting up for another championship run, but I'm not even sure if they're going to win it. And sometimes they self-destruct, so that could open up another door for any Eastern Conference team. But if you look at the Western Conference, man, it's wide open. I don't know what's coming out the West. You know, the Warriors is inconsistent. It's been a roller coaster of a year, but you know, slowly Klay Thompson is finding his groove off the bench. You know, they got the young bulls they playing. Kaminga is, you know, up in his game, you know, showing that speed and athleticism and all of that. You know, I'm Stephen Curry, still Stephen Curry, right? Draymond Green's the facilitator. So that's a team that's dangerous still with their experience, right? The Lakers still got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? The Suns still got very good scores on that team with depth around them. You know, the Kings still can run with the best of them. The Nuggets won the championship last year. They're going to be right back there. The Clippers, if they're healthy, they're going to be there. So, look, I don't know who's going to win the championship. So that's good. There is positives, but the positives don't outweigh the negatives. And that's why this current state of the NBA has a lot of work to be done to bring it back to the place that it once was. Say, the mic is yours.
No, my bad. The issue with the first of all, that was a great take. Both of you had great takes in terms of what was happening. The issue with what's happening in the All-Star game, unfortunately, is not even like happening in the NBA. It's before that. It's these players that's doing this in collegiate. It's players that's been doing this in high school and AAU. Like defense is no longer being preached. It's not a thing that's being preached by coaches down the line. Like these guys are not working on defensive skills or working hard. They're working on dribbling. They're working on different ways to score. And you're seeing about all these different players that are coming in. You could go through a list of players from different teams and different organizations. They come in with a mindset of they just have to score. That's it. And nothing else. And I think that when you talk about the All-Star game itself, when you talk about the NBA, Anthony Edwards said it best. It's a break. It's a week because it's not competitive. It's non-competitive. And you have to make the change in the players in order to make the change happen on the court. And I believe Zach said it a couple shows ago. In order an idea that can change how we view the All-Star, but also how the players view the All-Star, you have to make it a competitive advantage. If you're gonna do West versus East, the winner, whoever it is, they get an advantage in the NBA Finals. They get more home games than the other team. They go back to that 3-2-2 format where the team, what conference wins that All-Star game, they get that extra. They get those extra home home games, essentially an extra home game versus that other conference. Players might complain about it. They might say something, but unfortunately, this is what you caused the league to do. Incentivize them with more money is not going to do anything. They're already making the most they ever made.
Absolutely.
They're making the most they ever made. They're making generational wealth as is. You're not going to give them X more money, and then what? The excuse down the line is going to be we want even more money. So it's like it being paid more is not going to do much. And then if you give them an extra week of rest or extra week of break, that means more teams have to play more games down in the second half of the season, like in a shorter time span, because you still got to make up those games, that time that we lost. So either way, you're going to have guys tired, guys probably be more susceptible to injuries due to fatigue or due to whatever something happens, or just a freak accident, a freak injury that can happen, which we always see in the NBA. A freak accident happens every single year. And so it's like, as a fan, of course, you want to see the best in the world play against each other, and then you want to see a good product. But when you have the best in the world playing against each other, that's exactly what you see. A bunch of guys that know they're great, and they're just going to go out there and just shoot. They're not going to really try to play hard. They don't want to defend. For what? Why would I want to sit here and try to play a tough 48 minutes of basketball or 60 minutes of basketball, whatever? And it's like, for what? I'm not getting, for what? Just to do it? Just because it doesn't make sense to them. And it's like, all right, fine. No one really wants to really play hard in an All-Star game. We get it. But that doesn't mean you have to make the product look terrible. Like you don't have to just like make the product look terrible just because you don't really care. Like, and that's a situation that unfortunately there's no real fix until you make it something. You have to make it some form of competitiveness by incentivizing the game in some capacity, not money wise, but in certain ways you have to show like if whatever conference wins, they get something, whatever it is, and you have to figure out what that something is that can make it not only fair to win, but also make the players care about it. So it's right now, like Anthony Edwards, like I said, they take it as a break, especially since you added in that in-season tournament that we saw with the Lakers, with the Pacers, the Bucks. It changed a lot of different dynamics because you're going from where you're playing on the East Coast or Milwaukee, whatever, then you're flying out to Vegas, and then the next game you have to go right back to the East Coast, and you have to try to change back into your time zone and get adjusted and accustomed. So like we're seeing different tidbits of trying to make the season more competitive and doing different things, but we have to find, the NBA has to find a good mix of what that looks like, what it will be. Right now, like I understand the fans are not happy. Clearly, Adam Silver's not happy, and the players are just like, well, this is a week. We got a week to just kind of just have fun. I thought that's what it was all about. The All-Star is supposed to be have fun moment, not let's all lock in and just try to lock each other up and try to make it a 60-60 game, which could possibly happen if the players would really, want to play defense every single possession. But I think for me, I would love to see that NBA All-Star game be all right. Whoever wins that conference gets an advantage in the NBA Finals. I think that would be ideal because you can make that as competitive as possible. And I think players who are really gunning to try to win an NBA championship, who are like top contenders each conference, they would play hard. You will see you will see a team that's going to really play hard at that facet because everyone wants a home court advantage for the finals.
No, I don't agree with that because it's putting emphasis on one game that's meaningless, which is the All-Star game. I don't care if the All-Star game improves. Yes, a lot of my take is gonna come for the All-Star game because it just happened. But we are talking about the regular season as a whole. It's trash, bro. I don't care about. Yeah, sure. I would love the All-Star weekend to be more competitive. Sure, I would love it. The dunk contest to be the cream of the crop of All-Star weekend in general, like how it used to be back in the day. But it would devalue the importance of the number one seed if you really make the All-Star game. The East wins, or let's say the East wins, then you get the home court in the playoffs. I don't think that makes any sense because you're devaluing the regular season even more because the number one seed ain't gonna make no sense. I don't need the one seed because especially if I'm in, let's say, the Western Conference and the East won, I'm not gonna need the one seed in the Western Conference because the East is gonna have the home court in the finals. Right. So at the end of the day, to me, I just think when you come back and you talk about the All-Star weekend in specifics, right? Because I was gonna save this for a take for 99, but I'm gonna come up with something else on the fly. I think for me, and this probably has nothing to do with the betterment of the game more so than the observation during the game, because I'm not sure if you saw the Sabrina. I'm pretty sure you was there, Zay. Sabrina and Stephen
Yeah,
Curry
yeah.
3-point battle, right? I'm gonna talk about that for a second because I think for me, right, I understand the NBA is trying to find innovative ways to you know grow the product. I would look at that battle as a way of shedding light to the WNBA. You could look at it from that perspective. But me watching the sports game and just looking at things from a third eye's view, I always have my third eye open. I think it's an agenda, and I understand there's another conversation within this conversation, so I apologize. But I might as well kill two birds with one stone since we're talking about I was going to talk about this. It's an agenda being pushed out, and I understand a lot of us is probably not even going to comprehend what I'm saying because it's really a worldly thing, right? But I'm gonna try my best to make it make sense, right? Because we know that, or we should know, right? Some of us don't know our history, that women's liberation was a thing to break up the family, the modern family. Okay, how do I know that? Well, there's a lot of proof of that. Okay, and there was a filmmaker named Aaron Russo who was friends with the Rockefellers, who we all should know that they are the most powerful people that really control some of the banking and lifestyle that we have. And he told him that was the plan of that, right? I understand I'm going deep here, but I think there's an agenda that I don't like where we are trying to put women against men. I don't think that's a good message because I think that's a life thing that's happening right now. When you go on social media, you see women against men, men versus women. And I don't think we need that, right? Because Sabrina is a very talented basketball player. Clearly, she could shoot the three ball with the best of them in her sport, really. And I think that WNBA, the way how we talking about the NBA right now, hey, don't be surprised if in a couple years the WNBA overtakes the NBA with all due respect, the way how the NBA is going, with all due respect. So that might be a standalone sport in its own, and they might not need the NBA services. But I just don't like that narrative of placing the man against the female because it doesn't really work. Like, for example, I have evidence to back up my statement. Serena Williams is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Okay, the greatest women's tennis player of all time, clearly undisputed. I'm not taking no debates on that. Look at the stats. However, when she crossed over and they did something back in 2005, I might have the year wrong, but in the early 2000s, she crossed over and they had like a battle called the Battle of the Sexes with a man. I forgot this man's name. It's not coming to me, but it wasn't no Rafael Nadal. It wasn't no Roger Federer, right? It was a unranked guy. Okay, guy might have been ranked like 500 in the country. Okay, and he dominated Serena Williams, bro, in straight sets, easy. And Venus Williams. Okay, you got Clarissa Shields in boxing. I know we follow boxing on the show, but I know we know who Clarissa Shields is. She's the GOAT in her sport, with all due respect, undisputed GOAT. But she's out here disrespecting Keith Thurman for no reason, calling out Keith Thurman, saying that I can knock him out, disrespecting this guy on many podcasts. Like, no, Keith Thurman will knock you out, bro. Okay, calling out Triple G with all due respect. I just hate that narrative of placing the man against the female, even if we think this was a way to grow the WNBA. I think the WNBA is growing, by the way. I just look at it from that perspective because I know that's the narrative they try to push out. Even Kenny Smith, he said something that garnered a lot of backlash, right? When he said that she should have shot from the women's, line or something like that. Clearly, she had a women's ball she was shooting with. And then he got a lot of backlash for that comment. Like, no, listen, broadcasters, I watch the NBA, and broadcasters all the time reinvent the game. All the time. How many times did Jeff Van Gundy reinvent the game? Oh, the NBA should do this and they should do that and we should do that, trying to improve the sport of basketball. It happens all the time. So I just wanted to highlight that point, and then we can get back to wherever we at.
Right. Well, I'm gonna jump in, not to piggyback. That was a great take. I just want to clarify some things. David Stern globalized the sport. Okay, just to be fair, the sport was globalized in the '90s. I want to be fair about that point. Really, I'm going to touch back on this All-Star break, and what made the All-Star break special was the greatest players participated in the All-Star break. It wasn't who is the best dunker, but if you got the best players in the dunking contest, it makes it better to watch the great players put on a display and go at it with one another in a competitive status. It's great. No name people going at it competitively, it's not appealing. I can go to the park and see that, right? I can go to Rucker tournament and see that. I don't know that guy, but it's a dunk contest. So check it out. Oh, it's hot. No, watching the greatest players like go at it. The Dominique Wilkins and the Mike, go at it. It's real. It means something. But these players, no disrespect, and I'm not trying to call out LeBron James, but LeBron James, who is a mega star and probably one of the first mega stars, super athletic, did not go in the dunking contest. Kobe Bryant did it. Vince Carter did it. Tracy McGrady did it. LeBron James stopped it. And now we don't do it. Do you get that? And I think that's part of it. Because, again, this is what you're supposed to do for the fans. Growing the sport means something. Stop being selfish. Stop being selfish to the sport of today. Continue to grow the sport. Continue to grow the sport. The sport is not growing. It's declining. The ratings are saying so. But they not caring because they pockets are fat. Continue to grow the sport. How the sport's going to look 20 years from now if y'all can continue with this buffoonery? How is the sport going to look 20 years from now? Y'all all going to be retired and y'all millions. Grow the sport. There's people that laid down blood, sweat, and tears that wasn't getting paid a lot of money to grow the sport. Stop being selfish and be selfless. That's what these superstars are doing in today's NBA. They keep thinking about themselves. Now, you can call it media culture or fans culture, ring, and that's why they want to team up with somebody just to get a ring. You can call it that. But grow the sport, kid. They ain't growing the sport at all. Everybody is man for themselves. Every move LeBron James made, every move that Kevin Durant made, every move that James Harden made came up a selfish place of their own personal legacy, not growing the sport. It was for their own personal legacy, man.
I agree, Cuzzo. And I don't think none of these side shows, it's selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like Curry, with all due respect, you have a lot of great three-point shooters in the NBA who you could have been in that competition with. Like Dame, with all due respect. Okay, instead of this, self. All right, me and Sabrina gonna do this little no, like come on, we gotta stop that. Being selfish.
You're right about that. You're right. I have to cut you off. You're right about that. If you're the best three-point shooter, we gotta have you in this contest. Like that's it. You're supposed to go. I want the best playing the best. That's why we watch championship play. We got the best playing the best. That's why we watch sports. It's competitive. I want the best playing the best. Steph Curry's supposed to be the greatest three-point shooter. I don't care if he win it 10 years in a row. Continue to dominate. I'm going to keep seeing that. I'm going to continue to see him be great. Because when he don't win, I'm going to be like, oh, my God, Steph Curry. That's what I want to see. We don't want you playing around. It's ridiculous.
See, I got one more point, then I'll let you bring us home. Salute to my guy, Kenny. I don't want Cussle to be blocked, but salute to my guy, Kenny. Jaylen Brown, I want to give him some credit, right? Because I understand, the dunk contest was trash. He had no creativity. But you talked about LeBron James being the face of the NBA. That's his torch that he's going to pass up when he retires, right? Yep. Right now, as long as he's still playing, he's the face of the NBA. And I will co-share that with Steph Curry. I think he's right. They're holding it together in some type of way.
Absolutely.
But at least Jaylen Brown, who clearly has leadership skills, that's what a lot of these players lack. It's leadership skills. Everybody's wanting to do for self, and focus on their own careers. Jaylen Brown is a leader. He could have got his own basketball team. Yes, it doesn't help. Well, it doesn't hurt when you get $300 million to play basketball and share the love and share that, championship. We're going to win it together, me and Tatum, right? So it does help. But he could have got his own team. No, I want to win. And yes, I do want to be paid too. But I want to make the NBA better. I want to take part in this dunk contest, even if I fail.
I agree.
Even if I make myself look bad. Absolutely. I'm doing it. I'm a leader. This was the only guy that I heard of. Okay, since I've been watching these guys get paid, talk about I want to build Black Wall Street. That came out of his mouth. He's the only guy that I know right now, and I could be corrected if I'm wrong. With all due respect, correct me, please. That helps support the big three, who the NBA try to blackball. Well, yeah. He's a leader. LeBron James, with all due respect, we understand your legacy and how great you are, but sometimes greatness comes in all shapes and forms. Not when you're comfortable, not when you want to do something, but what's need to be done. Right. Can you do it? You think Malcolm X, and I got the Malcolm X shirt, it's Black History Month. I talked about him to start the show. You think he wanted to risk his life?
No.
Listen, he could have shot dice, bro, with Martin Luther King called it the day, bro.
And live a good life. Quick, cousin. My bad. Real quick.
I'm preaching, quick, bro.
Real quick. That was real. LeBron James is a calculated individual where he tried to build his legacy, right? People don't know Michael Jordan first dunk contest, he lost. He didn't care about his legacy. See, that's what you talking about. Well, I ain't gonna take that chance because I might lose. Who cares? You understand what I'm saying? Go compete. So when you talk about Jaylen Brown going to compete, even though he's gonna lose, I respect it at a high level. That's what we need back. Go compete. Jordan lost his first dunk contest. People don't understand that. He didn't care about I'm gonna look bad in front of my fans. No, I'm just gonna go compete. I actually lost. Okay, gotta come back next time. Like, what are we talking? Bird was considered the best shooter. He was in 3 straight 3-point contests. He could lose. Oh, is Bird the best shooter? No, but he's competing. Go compete, man.
Clearly, he's a leader. Clearly, he took it upon himself. Where all these athletes are sitting there in the stands and on the court side, chilling, just having fun. And he said, you know what? I'm going to try to make this game better. That's a leader right there. So if he wants to come back next year, even if his dunks is trash like it was this year, I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, I understand the All-Star weekend is for the stars, the bright stars, but like I said, the players don't want to do it. They take this week as a break. That's it. It's just we have to understand that. It's just players say take this week as a break. You gave them a week off. It's no longer a weekend. You gave them a week off.
And Zay, that's a great point, man.
You talk about the stars, you talk about everyone not wanting to come in is because they want a week to just rest their bodies. They're traveling more than ever. It's not like they did like the first time. They're traveling more than ever. They're going from East Coast to West Coast in a couple days span and going right back to the East Coast and then go right back to the West Coast. Guys want to break, and sometimes you can say, oh, well, they're coddled or this and that, whatever it is. This is what their body is accustomed to and adjusted to. That's it. That's all it is. So, this is the new NBA. This is the new normal. And until a competitive advantage is given onto these weekend festivities, whereas they don't, they no longer request extra money, requesting extra things and that nature, and guys want to be more competitive and really take it upon themselves to go out there and say, yeah, I'm the dunk slam champion, I'm the 3-point champion, I'm X, Y, and Z. Until then, you got to figure it out. But right now, the only thing I love this weekend was the 3-point contest. Everybody, all the stars in the 3-point contest, and we're seeing that more than anything else. And maybe you have to abolish the dunk contest. Maybe you have to abolish the dunk contest because all the stars want to shoot threes. Every superstar wants to be a part of the 3-point contest. We saw more stars in the 3-point contest this year than ever before.
So let me ask you a question. I want to ask a question, but I do want to respond to my guy, Kenny. He made a comment. I just want to read real quickly here. That's it right there. Okay, I think we are juggling around the elephant in the room because we don't want this to happen. Okay, so we found every excuse in the book to come up with an innovative way that we can fix the NBA. The NBA cannot be fixed currently constructed with its schedule. With all due respect, okay, there's 82 games in the season. There's a lot of untrimmed fat there, okay, where games are not going to be competitive, okay? We want, if you shorten the season, okay, games automatically are more competitive. That calendar that gets closer to the playing games are going to be more competitive faster, okay? But obviously the NBA wants to print out money, okay? But I think they need to work around that. Okay, fine. Right now, the NBA is dominating TV because there's nothing else on. The NFL is done. So now you see Sunday they on now. They got a doubleheader on Sunday and they do the Saturday night because the NFL is gone. So that's their time. Okay, then start your season around where the NFL is about to end and have that back end to really dominate the TV and shorten the season and make it more competitive, make these games more competitive. But we want to walk around that solution and come up with other ideas that when we really think about it thoroughly, that don't even make no sense.
Yo, cousin, you just said something that was great again. You definitely on your game today, baby. You on your game.
Man. I listened to Lord give me a sign last night about DMX. I was in my bag.
You're on your game. You're on your game because you're hitting it on the nose. Because if the NBA is not careful, they'll bankrupt this league, right? The viewership is down, guys. We got to admit to that, right? This is not the same viewership. So these TV deals is going to get smaller. So before they get smaller, lessen the games, right? See? And I agree with you, cousin, because at least it'll definitely make it more competitive because as we get to the finish line faster. But if y'all don't know, if people don't know, the NHL bankrupted itself, I want to say in the late 90s. Similar situation. Overpaying the players, but viewership continued to go down. Year in, year out, the viewership in the NHL was going down, 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 and they bankrupt the league. The league was bankrupt. We're heading in that direction. Just go check out viewership. It is horrible. They do not make most of their money through fans going through the turnstiles. That's what they want y'all to think. They make most of their money through TV deals. That's where they make billions. They make millions through the turnstile. They make billions off of TV deals. Okay. And they are losing viewership. Okay. And they're going to bankrupt this league. They're giving these dudes $300 million. Okay. And when that new TV deal come in, they're like, you see these ratings? You see how y'all went down? We ain't going to pay y'all this much money. It's just that simple.
All right. I think that's a good way to end this segment. We're going to go to halftime. We still got a lot more topics left to go. So we're going to speed it up here in about 2 minutes. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.